After a splendid literary forum with multilingual poets, we now have Pravasi Manch program. Sahitya Akademi launched Pravasi Manch series of programs in 2009. In this program, a non-resident Indian writer is invited to relate from his or her literary works. This evening, we have an eminent writer in Telugu, Sri Mallikeswara Rao Konchada from Australia. At this program, I invite Sri Mallikeswara Rao ji to the stage. I request Dr. K. Srinivas Rao ji, Secretary, Sahitya Akademi, to please formally welcome Sri Mallikeswara Rao ji, offering Angavastram and Sahitya Akademi publications. I request now Dr. K. Srinivas Rao ji to please deliver welcome address.
Namaskar and good evening to all of you. As my colleague has already mentioned to you that Academy has started the Pravasi Manch program for non-resident Indians who are settled at abroad but writes in Indian languages. Please don't take it otherwise that I am speaking in English, though I know Telugu, and today we are hosting a Telugu writer because we have many friends here those are multilingual. So next to him is a Hindi who got the Sahitya Akademi. Many people are here. So this platform was shared by many eminent writers, those who are settled at abroad. Particularly if you look at Telugu writers from America, Vangur Chitranraj Garu also once he shared the same platform. And during COVID time, we had wonderful programs through online because that was the time when we have engaged all the writers, those who are abroad, to be associated with the Academy. That time also we had a good number of programs. So that was the because we want to be connected with our Indian writers, those who are settled abroad. That was the idea behind for having this Pravasi Manch. And today we have with us none other than Sri Mallikeswara Rao Konchada Garu, who hails from Srikakulam district in Andhra Pradesh and migrated to New Zealand in 1996 and moved to Australia in 2001. And if I further briefly introduce him, that he is an IT manager by profession, currently living in Melbourne, Australia. See, Mallikeswara Rao Garu runs an online Telugu portal, telugumalli.com, for Telugu people living in Australia and New Zealand with the help of his wife, Pravasi Garu. I think she is also here with us. Okay. And son Hari Garu. It contains Telugu poetry, stories, articles related to Telugu language and culture, and this platform encourages Telugu writers in Australia and New Zealand. In the year 2010, he played a leading role in shaping the book Kavitastralaya, the first in the series published by Australia Bhavana Vijayam Literary Group. So far, Kavitastralaya has published 3 collections with the contributions of articles from Telugu writers in Australia and New Zealand. He also played a key role in staging the first stage mythological dramas in the Pacific region. It is very rare to know about that because he is practicing mythological play, and when he came to me 2 days ago, he has shown me, I was misplacing. Even we here are not doing that kind of thing, but they are sitting at Australia, they are doing wonders. That we should appreciate such kind of thing. And to name a few, those mythological plays, Thousand Years History of Telugu Language, and Sri Krishna Rayabharam, Sri Parvati Kalyanam, and Mahakavi Kalidasa, that is the latest one. And he worked tirelessly to recognize Telugu language as a community language in Australia. Under his coordination, organized many avadhanams in Australia, being the coordinator of the Padya Vijayam. The group learns to write Padyalu with Chandassu, and resulting in Veera Sainika Satakam and Adivo Alladivo. In 2013, he played a key role as the interstate coordinator for the first World Telugu Festival held in Sydney. In 2018, he was the chief coordinator of Sri Vamburi Foundation's 6th World Conference held in Melbourne, the first World Telugu Conference in Australia, which I myself witnessed personally. So they are doing wonderful job, those who are far of place, but they are doing wonders, particularly for promoting Telugu language and literature and its culture as well. And in 2019, he was the coordinator of the first literary conference of Australia and New Zealand. And this year, on the occasion of completing 60 years of Telugu people in Australia, he authored a book, Turpu Tirumlo Telugu Rekhalu. And in short while, we are going to release that book as well. And he has received a number of awards and honors that include in 2011, the state government of Victoria, Australia conferred the Service Excellence Award in recognition of his community service. In 2018, Potti Sriramulu Telugu University conferred Sri Mandala Venkat Krishna Rao International Award for his services to Telugu language. By now you must have known with this short introduction how he is very much associated with Telugu language, literature and culture, and how he is promoting this whole culture of Telugu in Australia and New Zealand. So without much taking of your time, now I will invite Mallikeswara Rao Garu to say a few words. And also, since he has staged in many mythological plays, today he will enact us at least few with his own style, some kind of పద్యాలు also. మీరు పద్యాలు కూడా పాడతారు కాబట్టి మన ఢిల్లీ తెలుగు వాళ్ళకి మన తెలుగు సత్తా ఏంటో కొంచెం చూపించండి. ఆస్ట్రేలియా నుంచి వచ్చి చూపించాల్సి వస్తుంది, అది మన పరిస్థితి. సో ఓవర్ టు హిమ్. We will release first, no? Yeah. So first we will release the book, and thereafter he will speak, and he can recite some of his poems, and how the Telugu literature and language and culture in Australia, and how he is associated and connected still with his motherland.
Wife is also associated with yes. Project.
पीछे से निकल सकते हैं फोटोग्राफर. నమస్కార్ అందరికీ తెలుగు వాళ్ళందరికీ తెలుగులో నమస్కారం. This probably I will be talking in multilingual English and Telugu. I can speak Hindi, but only problem is you will have problem listening to me rather than me speaking. So it's broken Hindi. So that's why mostly I will be sticking to myself to English and Telugu. So thank you, sir. It's a good introduction you have given me. I think you have set a bar, an expectation of myself acting here, but I'm not really prepared. But I will recite some poems, whatever I wrote in Telugu. First of all, probably I just want to talk about this book. This book speaks 60 years of Telugu people in Australia. In 2023, we completed 60 years Telugu generation. So the first person who went to Australia in 1963, and this is, in our culture, this is like a milestone, 60 years, Sastipurti. I think all of you know anything anyway about this one. So I was thinking about writing this book for the last few years, and I was lucky enough to complete this book by the August this year. So this book, in brief, I have written different chapters. So the first chapter is 60 years of Telugu people journey in each decade, and how many people with numbers and how they have undergone in the first generation, second generation, even third generation now. It's initially the first person, Dr. Dorvasula Murthy, he was from Visakhapatnam. He went in 1963 and didn't see any Telugu person for 7 years. That was the situation at that time. So, in the early days, people used to use vinegar instead of tamarind. Those were the days. And nowadays, every street, every suburb has got at least one Indian store. It's more or less like everything available in so everything, all Indian groceries and everything available there nowadays. So what I have written, it is a 60 years of journey of Telugu people, starting from 1960s and 70s and 80s. So till 1963, 1990, the Telugu people, the numbers were very, very small, like maybe less than 100 in each of the in each of the city. And in 1990s, when the computers have came into existence in the sense the presence of computers or technology has gone up, that's where there was a lot of influx of Telugu people. Of course, Indians as well. So currently, Telugu people are officially 60,000 in Australia. Unofficially, it could be around 100,000. It's a long journey, but having said that, though, we have the Telugu people along with the Indian society, Indian people, Indian persons. They contributed a lot to the growth of Australia. and they have, nowadays they are into, initially the professions were only education, and the doctors, only some limited professionals used to visit, but later on IT has taken over. Nearly 85% of the Telugu speaking people are more or less in IT sector, which including myself. I'm also in IT, as Srinivas said. So I have written all this in one chapter, and the second chapter probably I have written about the language, how the language has gone. Gone in the sense changed phases. So till 80s, 90s, not many people. So they used to have their own the cultural festivals and everything in individuals' houses. But later on, the numbers have gone up, and in early 90s, I think the individual associations have formed in each of the cities, and organized a number of festivals with a lot of group of people. So I went to New Zealand as an immigrant in 1996, and after spending 5 years there, in 2001 we moved to Australia for different reasons. Then I started my the career in IT. Basically, I was a civil engineer back in India, but I started my career in IT and continued in Australia. But my passion is always about the language and culture. So that's when I started writing small poetry and helping the local associations in different forms. Even I started writing the small plays, and I run the individual newsletters as well for some of the associations. So in 2010 we formed a literary group called Bhuvanavizham, and we thought we always do only social dramas and other these things. Why not we as an Indian, as a Telugu person, it's always the mythological dramas are the best of its kind, and my group, including myself, wanted to do the mythological dramas, but a lot of people have discouraged us. It's not easy to convince, and it's nobody is interested to have those ones. Then we had an opportunity of playing Sri Krishna, the Ashtadiggaja, the court of Sri Krishna Devaraya, which is about 3 hours on its own, but we condensed that one to 25 minutes just to see the pulse of the people, and we had a great response for that one. And with 25 minutes, a lot of young children, they came with all the aharyam, mukuts and kiritams, and then the dresses and everything. They were really impressed with those ones. So then we said, okay, definitely if someone is really doing these dramas, there is a response for that one. People are there to see, view and respond to that one. That is when we started the first one in 2014, that is the 1000 years of Telugu history in mythological form. So that's even right from Nannaya. I don't know, a lot of people may know about him. Nannaya, Potana, Srinavadadu, and then Sri Krishna Devaraya, C.P. Brown. C.P. Brown, probably you know, he is one of the stalwarts of Telugu language, even though he came from England. He in 16th, 17th century, I think he did a lot of work and in preserving Telugu language, Telugu books, and also we continued, 19th century Gurizada, Paravatarao, and then the in 20th century the poets like Sinaran Reddy. All these ones we composed about 2 hours of that play, and it was really mesmerizing. So that is the first one we did. And the second one, Sri Krishna Rayavaram, that's everybody knows about Mahabharata. That's a crucial part of Mahabharata we did. And the third one, Parvati Kalyanam, which includes Darshayagam. It is a 3 hours play. And last year, due to COVID, we could not do anything for 3 years. But last year, we could able to do Mahakavi Kalidas, which is what Srinivas Rao was saying. There is a trailer of 6 minutes I showed to him, and he was just watching that 6 minutes without talking to me. So that's how he was immersed in the play. Particularly, we searched for Kalidas as a play in almost in 2 Telugu states and other states as well. We could not find, so finally we wrote that one and played 3 hours of that Kalidas, which was a really great response we received from all over the world. And one important thing probably I just want to mention about that one, the play we wrote, the Telangana government republished the book and put it in 300 libraries. So that's a great achievement. We feel we're proud of it, because normally we take books from India and read or use it for different purposes. But we wrote the play, which has come back from Australia to India, and then that is in the Indian libraries. So thank you. So that's the cultural aspect and plays which I was talking, and of course as a language, the first 30 years there was nothing, as the numbers were very less, and they were just not struggling, at least they were trying to stand their feet. That's on their feet. That's all initially. But in 1990 onwards, because of the numbers, and then there are different Telugu associations in different states, they have started all the cultural programs, and also individual newsletters encouraged people to write in the newsletters. So that happened for around 20 years. But I started the telugumalli.com. That's a portal for Telugu people in Australia and New Zealand in 2013. So that is, we are celebrating 10 years this year as well. See, the synchronization so happened. 60 years of Telugu people in Australia, 10 years of telugumalli.com, and 60 years of my age this year as well. Thank you. It so happened. So I've been involved in writing this Telugu poetry in different forms for the last almost 20 years or 20 plus years. I started in New Zealand, because in New Zealand first 2.5 years it was a bit hard to find jobs. So that I found a lot of time to write, think and write about our own stories in a poetical form. And then I continued that one even in Australia. So first I wrote the poems in small stanzas, But later on, more recently, once we moved into Padjanatakams, mythological plays, play dramas, I started learning writing chandas. So that's more of a grammatical padyams in Telugu poetry. So some of them, I'm not sure, I'll try to explain what I'm saying, but they are mostly in Telugu, so my apologies if each word, if you are not able to understand, but I'll try to explain as much as possible for you. So this book, I write in different forms of Telugu literature. So that means I generally write poems, I write stories, I write articles, I write padyams. So different. So there is a story in this one particularly that is about the marriages abroad. So it's a hilarious way. I just wanted to how, but it has got just a lot of inner meaning in that one, how the parents communicate with their children and how difficult it is, and those kind of things. So it's a hilarious one in this one as well. Sorry, give me 1 second. So I start my in Telugu grammar, grammatical poetry poems. There are more than 50 padyams, different categories. I somehow got more acquaintance in Sesa Padyam. Probably some of you will understand. So I started a Sesa Padyam on Srinivas Rao. సాహితీవేత్తయై సౌమ్య స్వభావియై పుష్కరం ముగ కార్యభూషియగుచు. He is a literary man himself. He writes books. I didn't know that. Yesterday when I met him, he gave me a book on Girish Corner. So the author was himself. So he himself is a big literary man. సాహితీవేత్తయై సౌమ్య స్వభావియై పుష్కరం ముగ కార్యభూషియగుచు. కేంద్ర సాహిత్యంపు సాంద్ర అకాడమీ పక్షాన బాధ్యుడై వరలుచుండి ఎందరో కవులకు విందవు అవార్డుల పంచిన మహనీయ భాగ్యుడగుచు. 24 ఈ దేశ భాషలన్ సేవలందింప సంసిద్ధుడగుచు. కృతి వెంటి విశిష్ట సంవృత్తిపరుడు శ్రీనివాసుడు విఖ్యాత సేవలిడుచు. నీ ఈ అకాడమీ నడిపించు హితగునుండు మాన్యులగు వారికేను నమస్కరింతు. I think just now I can see the senior editor from Andhra Jyoti, Kavikrishnudu. Welcome, sir. He himself is a big poet. I think a lot of people know about him. And when he talks, I know he came in 2018 to Melbourne. It was really a mesmerizing orator. Kavikrishnudu antaru varni. కవికృష్ణుడను పేరు చబులూరు పలుకుతో రాజకీయుల పెంచు రాగశీలి. సీనియర్ పత్రిక సీమ పాత్రికుడన దీపించు విశ్లేష దీప్తమౌలి భారత కృష్ణుని భాతిగా రహించు రాజ్యాంగ సలహాల రాజమౌలి ఖ్యాతి నాంధ్రజ్యోతి యందు దీప్తి గడించు రాతగాడట కృష్ణ రాయమౌలి నాయకులకెక్కు సలహాను పాయమెరిగి తెలియజెప్పిడి కృష్ణుడు సలలితుండు కవి శిరోమణి మేధావి గడుసువాణి కేను కేల్మోర్తు సంస్కార మానితముగా. Today, as an audience for my speech here, you all came and spending your time, valuable time here. So this is for all of you. ఆస్ట్రేలియా కదలానగా వచ్చిన ప్రేక్షకావలికి శుభాక్షతలివి. I'm telling about Australia, the story of Telugu people in Australia today in different forms. So this is more like how can I say, this is I don't know what exactly this means. ఆదేశమందలి యాంధ్రులందరూ మాతృభాషకై కొనసాగు వైఖరీది. In Australia, we do a lot of work about the language and culture, as you have heard already. 60 ఏళ్లుగా నచ్చటి ఆంధ్రులు పాలనా విధులందు పాల్గొనొచ్చు తెలుగు భాషకు గొప్ప దివ్య తేజమలంది తూర్పున వెలుగులు నూర్పు నింపి. ఈ తూర్పు తీరంలో తెలుగు రేఖలు, this book speaks almost everything in the last 6 years what happened, and how the transformation happened in the lives of Telugu people. So that's what I'm trying to say. అతటి భాషల తెలుగును నదివనింపజేయుచున్నాము దీక్షతో చెన్ను మేర దిగ్దిగంతాల తెలుగుదుల దీప్తి కొరకు అందరొక్కటే తిమి హర్షముసగా. Thank you all for coming here to hear my poetry and my speech. Please let me if it is boring, but I will continue with my few political, the poetry ones, what I have written. So this one is to start with, whether it is my mother or the goddess. That's what I'm starting with my poetry with this one. Na manamuna savakkunu nilpina vaktevini nammiti. So I believed Saraswati as in my heart. She is living as a word or sentence, whatever the form. నా మనమ్మున సవాక్కును నిలిపిన వాగ్దేవిని నమ్మితి నిర్మల నా హృదయమ్మును ఎదుగు చేసిన ఉమాసుతిని నమ్మితి. సో ఐ ట్రస్టెడ్ ది విఘ్నేశ గణేష్. కమ్మని కల నిమ్మని అడిగిన కావ్యమ్ము చదువు కొమ్మని యానతి నిచ్చిన చదువుల తల్లిని నమ్మితి. కవితాస్త్రాలయ కథలు కథనాలు కవితల కవనాలు కొమ్మలు గల కావ్య కన్యకను నమ్మితి. Kavitastralaya, we published so far 3 volumes, which contains poetry, stories, and a lot of other things by language lovers in Australia and New Zealand. కమ్మని కల నిమ్మని అడిగిన కావ్యమ్ము చదువు కొమ్మని ఆనతి నిచ్చిన చదువుల తల్లిని నమ్మితి. కవితాస్త్రాలయ కథలు కథనాలు కవితల కవనాలు కొమ్మల గల కావ్య కన్యకను నమ్మితి. ప్రవాసమున తెలుగు భాషకు ప్రవాహముగా సమాచరించమన్న నీ ఆనతి నమ్మితి. సో I am doing any service to the language, it is because she is giving orders from the above. That's all I believe. సమ్మతిగా గెలుపొందిన నా హితుల నమ్మితి పార్వతీ పరమేశ్వరులంటే జనకుల నమ్మితి. సో ఇట్స్ మై పేరెంట్స్ and also my friends. So I trust all of them, and then they trusted me. They put in their trust in me. అడగక నాకు ఇచ్చిన బంధు పరివారము నమ్మితి. I never knew that who is my relatives, when I was young. But God has given me people like them here. They are all here. నా హృదయని మంచి భావముతో ముంచెత్తి పోషణమిచ్చిన అంబను నమ్మితి. కలుపులేని మంచి తలుపులనిచ్చి మది పులకింపుల గిలగింతలు కలిగించిన అమ్మ భారతి నిన్ను సదా నమ్మితి. So she has given all good words, sentences, and also the ideas to me. That's why I believe in the mother of goddess. The next one, it is about Telugu language itself, and also a lot of places in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana states. Probably a lot of people you will be able to understand, I believe. This is the description of the language, and also different places, different cultures, different slangs in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. సంధి ఛందసుల బాట పట్టరో చిన్న లఘు గురువులతోడ లంఘించు తెలుగన్న సమాసాలంకారాలు సమృద్ధిగా ఉన్న మోన విజయపు ఘోష విందాము రండన్న పల్లవులు చరణాలు పద్యాలు language. So it has got a lot of not only the poetic language, but it has got what is it called, the local, the village languages, village flavor, a lot of flavor. దివ్యమైనది మా మాట పలుకురో నీ నోట పరదేశీయులు కూడా కడమెచ్చనంట. ఇటాలియన్ ఆఫ్ ది ఈస్ట్గా పేరుగాంచినట అమ్మ భాషను మించినది అవనిలో లేదంట. Telugu language is recognized or as a Italian of the East. In 14th century, Nicola Conte, I think he came, because this is Ajanta Bhasha, that means every word ends with the vowels. That's the reason that's the reason in European languages it's Italian, and then that's how it is called as Italian of the East. I told you earlier, I started my poetry in New Zealand. So the first poem I wrote about how we, it's not sufferings, but without jobs and everything, what we have undergone, I described in a small poem. Turpu Vaipuna Unna Padamate Desam, New Zealand is in the far east. Bhutalanika Talamanikam, it is more like a vajram, a kiratam, a mukut to the whole land. Kanu Chupa Mera Patsadanam, Eta Chusina Kanipinchal Janam. So you see anywhere, it is more like it's an art. The whole country, the land of New Zealand is more like an art, piece of art. But it's greenery. Etu chusina kanipinchara janam. The whole country has got only 40 lakhs of people. I don't know, maybe in Delhi, 2-3 suburbs will have 40 lakhs of population. Kanu vindaina parvata srenulu, vinusumpaina virula gadalu. Kanu vindaina parvata srenulu. So the mountains are very beautiful. And the local people have got really a great people there. Vidhi vanchitalaina videsi porulu vidyarthulaga marina dampatalu. So when we migrated, we didn't have any jobs. And then what we have, at the age of 33 and 34, I started, as a student in New Zealand. That is when I started in 1997. Samanya Jeevananiki istaru bhrati, nindaina jeevitaniki ledu sruti. So for living, they give you the dole, which is enough. But that is not good enough for your life. Varnempa sakyamakani prakriti. So if you see the nature, it is, it's very difficult to describe. That is how beautiful it is. Ide palvurate quality pravikriti. So that is the reason nobody wants to leave, even though it was very hard to live in those days. Now it is really good. The IT sector has picked up and everything, but now it is, the very hard days, those days. So that's what I was trying to write. Karuda Gattina Seta Kalam Diniki Todu Varsham. So in the winter, when we went there, it was hard to see the sun for almost 6 months or maybe 4 months. So that was how it was. And at 5:30 it was like a curfew, maybe 1 or 2 cars going here and there. So in winter, heavy rains as well. Vesavi kosam eduru chuse janam marala radanukuntunnaru setalam. So always people used to look forward for summer, and without thinking that they were not really thinking about the winter will never come. That is how they used to look forward. So that is about the first poem I wrote. So sorry if I am going beyond, just let me know. Yeah. And lot of times, lot of Telugu associations, when the dignitaries come, they ask me to write about them welcoming or So those in one instance, S.P. Balasubramaniam came and I wrote. That was in 2008, I think. So the Shirshika is Ma Balu. So it's about our Balasubramaniam. Rasaganga Ragamai, Swaraganga Venuvai, Pranavinchu Nadamai, Sammohana Ganamai. Rasaganga Ragamai, Swaraganga Venuvai, Pranavinchu Nadamai, Sammohana Ganamai, Palubhashala Sangamamai, Pravahinchu Erulai, Paritapinchu Ahithuranu, Pravasinchu Godarulai. That's what I wrote about him. I don't know whether I can really explain that one in English, but I just leave it to you to understand. తేనెలొలకే పలుకు తరలి వచ్చిన తొలుకు నీలి మేఘాల మెరుపు కలిగించు మై మరుపు ఆ పాట మధురం ఆ మాట అధనం చిరుమందహాసం కమనీయ గానం స్వరాల విల్లువై పదాల పల్లవై పాదాల పద్యమై స్వరాల వెల్లువై పదాల పల్లవై పాదాల పద్యమై మృదంగ వాద్యమై హంసత్వని రాగమై ఆది తాళమై నాదాల నింగివై జలపాతాల హోరువై ప్రణవించు బాలు వర్దిల్లు బాలు. దట్స్ వాట్ it's a welcoming to SP Balasubramanian in 2008. I'll skip some of them. So my poetry earlier, I used to, it's more like a response to an incident I see, or an incident happened in the community. That's what my response was always in a poetical format. So in maybe 15 years ago, I came to Hyderabad and watching City Cable, and probably a lot of people, you know, the Jayaprakash Narayan was talking about some of the problems. He was a retired IAS officer, I think. So he was talking about a farmer going to the, you know, Taluk office, Mandal office. So he went 39 times just to get his work done, because he didn't have any money to pay as a bribe. So he went 39 times, but he could not succeed in his work done. So one day he took money, you know, from some of his friends, and 100 rupees he took and went there. So 40th time he was succeeded with paying 100 rupees. So that's that made me cry. So my response was that పొలంగట్టే డైనింగ్ టేబులై చెట్టు నేడే ప్రశాంత సౌధమై అష్టదిక్కులే ప్రత్యక్ష సాక్షులై స్వాతి చినుకలై అక్షింతలై స్వేద బిందువులై కనకొక్క పొడులై జాబిల్లె వెలిగే ఆకాశ దీపమై తలపాగే కిరీటమై ఏరువాకే వజ్రాయుధంగా రాత్రింబగళ్ళు కష్టం చేసి కాయం చేసి కోటి జీవికి కడుపు నింపుతూ నేల తల్లే అన్నం పెట్టే అనంత శక్తిగా ఆరాధిస్తూ పూజలు చేస్తూ బాహ్య ప్రపంచపు డంచులు చూడని కర్షక రాజు ఏదో పనిపడి ఆఫీస్కి వెళ్తే అసహనంతో అసహిస్తూ పరిహసిస్తూ చదువు లేదని చవటి వాడిని అపహాస్యం చేస్తూ అవహేళన చేస్తూ పల్లెటూరు బయటని ఎర్ర బస్సులో వచ్చాడని కన్నెర చేసి బయట భయపెట్టి తోషణలాడి టైం లేదనో రేపు రమ్మనో 100 నోటికని 100 సార్లు త్రిప్పి పిప్పి చేస్తున్న చదువుకున్న ఆఫీసర్లంతా, దిస్ ఇస్ ఓన్లీ ఫర్ దోస్, నాట్ ఎవ్రీ వన్. తిప్పి చేస్తున్న చదువుకున్న ఆఫీసర్లంతా తను కూర్చున్న కొమ్మని తానే నరుక్కునే మూర్ఖులు ఈ సమాజానికి పట్టిన చెదలు. That was my response. Sorry if I hurted anyone. So my initial writings were more like a, you know, the influence on me was Sri and those kind of you know, writers. So the next one is about how, if I have a friend, who it should be. That's what I wanted to explain in this one. మానవాళే నీ జాతి, మానవభ్యున్నతే నీ మతం, మానవతే నీ ధర్మం, నువ్వే నా నేస్తం. So humanity is your, you know, your country or your religion, whatever it is, humanity. That is what, that if you have those ones, that you are my friend. నిశీధి రాత్రిలో మండు టెండలో పెను తుఫానులో ముళ్ళ బాటలో తొదిలేని ఎడారిలో నా చిరు జీవితానికి ఒక దివ్యవే వెలుగునిచ్చే కాంతివి, నువ్వే నా నేస్తం. So at any point of time, if I ask for help, if someone comes and help, that's what my friend. నా ఆలోచనలకు ప్రేరణై చేతిలో కలమై నా వాక్యములో పదమై ప్రతి పదములో అక్షరమై నా కవితకు పల్లవై పదాల వెలువై ప్రతి క్షణము నాలో నిలిచిన నువ్వే నా నేస్తం. నా కంటిలో పాపవై ఉదరంలో గుండెవై నా ఆవేశానికి ఊపిరై పోరాటానికి శక్తివై అనునిత్యం నన్ను వెంటాడేవు నువ్వే నా నేస్తం. విశ్వమే నీ పరిధి, అంతరంగమే నీ ప్రపంచం, ప్రపంచమే నీ పుస్తకం, చదవటమే నీ జీవితం, నువ్వే నా నేస్తం. So that's about a friend. Lot of things here. It's maybe good things or bad things, but that's what I really look for a friend. In a friend, rather. So that's my poetry. Afterwards, when I was young, or maybe I don't know, in the middle age, so I used to write those kind of a very rational poetry. Later on, it has come down slowly with my age. So Janaranjani is one of the biggest programs we organize every year in Australia, in Melbourne particularly. So I wrote about that program, how this poetry describes how we wanted to celebrate and what happens in that program itself. I think last time in 2018, Srinivas Rao garu and then Krishna Rao garu attended that program, so how they have seen what we did. జనసందోహము దాసోహం మనగ జాజి మల్లెల కురులు జాలు వారిన జడలు పంచరంగుల రవికలు పట్టు చీరల కుచ్చెళ్ళు పాల బుగ్గల పరవళ్ళు ముసిమిసి నవ్వుల ముద్దు గుమ్మలు తెలుగు సంస్కృతికి నేడు కల్లాపు జల్లంగా రంగవల్లుల రవలి సంజయ కాంతుల సరళి భావ రాగాల మురళి స్వాగత గీతాలు పాడంగా ఎల్లలేని జిల్లాల వారు పరుగు పరుగున వచ్చి సమర వీరుల పోలు సమైక్యత రాగాలు ఆంధ్రులందరూ కలిసి ధవలారతి పట్టంగా గల్లు గల్లున మొవ్వలు చిరు సబ్బడలు చేయంగా స్వర మాధురీ జరుడు రసగంగలై పారంగా 64 కళలు సరళీకృతముగా సరస సాహితీ సంస్కృతి సాంప్రదాయబద్ధంగా తెలుగు వెలుగుల కాంతి భరత ఖండపు ఖ్యాతి కాంతి పుంజపు రీతి పుడమ తెల్లికి భ్రాంతి జయ జయ ధ్వనులు జనరంజని వేడుకలు జయమ్మనుచు పల్కుడి జనరంజనికి. I just read everything because if I stop somewhere, the rhyme probably I will be missing. That's the reason I read everything in one go. But this is more like irrespective of the region, color, creed and religion, everything. We do these kind of programs with almost like 200 participants or 250 participants on the stage. So that's the whole thing describes that one. So this is all, whatever it is, it comes to the letter, the alphabets. So without alphabet there is no language, and that is what I wanted to write, how the alphabet contributes in your thoughts, in your actions, in many forms, in different forms, at different times of your life. So this is a Telugu alphabet I wrote, that is the Telugu Aksharam. పక్షపాతం లేని అక్షరం ఎప్పుడూ నీ పక్షమేనంటుంది. So the alphabet never has any sides. It doesn't go, Ravi is good or Krishna Ravi is good or Rajshekar, Rajgopal is good. It never says. The way you utilize, the way you look at, the perception of the mind, the perception of the individual plays more important about the language. That's all. పక్షపాతం లేని అక్షరం ఎప్పుడూ నీ పక్షమేనంటుంది. మునివేళ్లతో దిద్దించుకొని మురిసిపోవాలనుకుంటుంది. మునివేళ్ళ మీన్స్ దిస్ ఫింగర్స్. When you write, whether it is Hindi or English, Parsi, whatever it is, when you write anything, the alphabet will be very, very happy. మనసున్న కవలతో మదిని పులకరింప చేస్తుంది, తానంటే ఇష్టమైన వారి వైపు క్రీగంట చూస్తుంది. సో lot of poets, you know, when they write, lot of times in my when I write some emotional things, I cry. That's what the alphabet likes, because the emotions comes out. మనసన్న కవలతో మదిని పులకరింప చేస్తుంది, తానంటే ఇష్టమైన వారి వైపు క్రీగంట చూస్తుంది. పదాల మధ్య వదిగి పొందికగా ఇమిడుకుంటుంది, పదాల పల్లవై భావాల చరణమై పాటతో సంగీతం పలికిస్తుంది. Whether it is a poet, you know, the music or the dance, anything, this alphabet is the most key element. పదాల మధ్య వదిగి పొందికగా ఇమిడుకుంటుంది, పదాల పల్లవై భావాల చరణమై పాటతో సంగీతం పలికిస్తుంది. సంగీత బాణికి స్వరాలాపనే నృత్య రూపకంగా నాట్యం చేస్తుంది. సప్త స్వరాల సుమధురుల గీతాల చదువులమ్మ తల్లి హక్కున చేరింది. సో దట్ ఈస్ హౌ you know it is part and parcel of the goddess Saraswati, and the alphabet plays very important role in every aspect of our life. ముసి నవ్వుల ముద్ద మందారంలా మారాము చేస్తుంది, సునిశ్చితమైన మానవతా సంబంధాలు సుందరంగా వర్ణిస్తుంది. సో sometimes when you really write hilarious things, you can write hilarious things, very serious things, different things you can write, and it describes the relationships between the human beings. సమాజంలోని అసమానతలపై మంత్రదండమై మందలిస్తుంది, మమతల అల్లికలో మల్లెల సువాసనలు వెదజల్లుతుంది. సో in the society, it describes, you know, or maybe the ups and downs, or the different categories of people, or you know, different aspects. It is if the poet or the writer is really hard, they can write very harsh words. But if it's also when you write poetry, if it is really soothing to ears, that plays a good role. పల్లె పాటకు జనపదాలకు జానపదమై జ్వలిస్తుంది, కావ్యాల కనికట్టు గ్రంథాల గోడము గుప్తంగా ఉంచుతుంది. ధరణిలో చరిత్రకు ధవళారతులు పట్టి దగదగా మెరుస్తుంది, అజరామరమైన అమర భాషకు వెన్నెముకగా నిలుస్తుంది. పదహరణాల పల్లె పడుచుల అందానికి వన్నె తెస్తుంది, సరసాల సందడితో వగలాడి వయ్యారాలు వలకబోస్తుంది. అమ్మ అక్క అన్న అత్త అన్నీ తానై పలకరిస్తుంది, అవునన్నా కాదన్నా నేనున్నానని కలిసి వస్తుంది. సో ఇట్స్ in every aspect. So in explaining your relations, or when you are talking to a child, an elder, or your boss, whoever it is, it plays a major role. That's all I wrote. So maybe I'm coming to close in few minutes, sir. More recently, I am part of one of the Adigo Alladigo. That is the way describing various elements from Alipiri to Tirumala. A lot of people don't know. They just want to go up and walk 3,500 steps. That's all. But they don't really observe what they are. So four of us, we are learning the Chandasu Padyalu. So we wrote all the, I think about 140 pages in Padya Chandasu. I don't know whether you know or not, you are prohibited to use the curry leaves in Tirumala. So there is a reason for that one. So that particular aspect, I'm just writing, I put it in a padyam. Probably that will, I'll explain why it is so. కళ్యాణ శుభవేళ కడు సంతసముగా నాకాశ భూపతి ఆడపడుచు కానుకలేయగా గజములన్నీ కలిసి మోకాలి కొండకు ముందు చేరే. So when the marriage happened between Padmavati and Venkateswara, said they gone up, and the father-in-law gave a lot of things to to the bridegroom, and then from the top, both of them were just looking. All the elephants are bringing all of those things, so they were just looking from the top. Mukta Manohara Mola Purushudagu Tirumala Vasudu Devamurti. So he was, the Lord Venkateswara was very, very happy. He is getting a lot of things. Aluvelu Mangani Adigani Premato Sarenanta Yujoda Samamuga. So he has asked, the Aluvelu Manga, has everything come to us? Is everything in order? So that's what he was asking. Then Alivelu Manga, she knows something is missing. Etlu vivarincha napachara mettu తెలియజేయగలనని ఆ తల్లి చింత చెంది, how can I say, something is missing here. మదన పడుచున మురిపెంగా మాట చెప్పే కరియ వేపాకు మా తండ్రి కలుపు మంచి. So the curry leaves, she said slowly, and the curry leaves, my father missed it. That is when Lord Venkateswara has given a sapam. No one uses curry leaves in Tirumala. That is the reason. I don't know whether people will be using now, but that is one of the things in that book we have written. So more recently, whatever I am writing, it's all in Pajyams, Sesa Pajyams. So the last one probably I will tell you, I wrote about Radha Saptami, that day. Sarva Sajjananada Samaya Swarupuda, Sarva Sajjananada Samaya Swarupuda, Arokya Datavai Alarudeva, Vadayamu Brahmani Uddina Sivudavu Sayampu Samayamunu Chakrivi. So, Sun God, and you give health to all of us. Vadayamu Brahmani Uddina Sivudavu. So, in the morning he is Brahma. In the afternoon he is Shiva, and in the evening Chakrivi, he is Vishnu. So the Lord Sun God, he has three forms in a day. Radha Saptami iti Pravavinchi Rahinchi Tarale Radhamaga Tarale Vache. So on this day, all the stars have come together to pull your chariot. Tenakara Daupade Tibya Tejastuto Bhujanlandaru Pongipoye. So that is when everyone is happy looking at the sun on Radha Saptami day. Mihiruda Jagatiki Mitrudavai Velgi Ahamanu Tuhinambu Nanagajeya Iha Parangulanni Irusaga Rinajesi Chakragatina Tirigu Sachivi. So, O Sun God, in me, if there is any aham, so that means ego, just bring it to, make it as a like your eyes becomes water, make like that, and Iha Parambulanni Irusaga Jesi Chakragatina Neevu Sachi Neevu. So for all this, you are a witness for what is happening in this whole world. So that's what one of the poems I wrote. I think I just want, if it is too much, I don't know. It is almost 7 o'clock now. Last one probably I will tell is it is about the New Zealand Telugu Association. తొలి సంచకిరణమై తోరణాహారమై భూమిపైన ముత్యమై భువనతార తెలుగు పలుకలతో తేనెలొలుకుచుండు సాహితీ సంస్కృతి సంఘటితం చిన్నదైననేమి చిరుత వంటిదటంచు జగములో పేరుండే జయముగాను ఆతిథ్యమును లేరు అందుకోగలవారు ఆచరణీయమై అంజలించు జాతి మెచ్చుగుణము తెలుగునయంచు పలుకురెప్పుడు మీరు ప్రణతులెత్తు సౌమ్య గుణములందు సమతుల్యముగు నుండి సాధు జనులతోడ శాంతి పలుకు. So, thank you for listening to me. Maybe I have exceeded my time. So this, I just wanted to show where I started my journey in writing poetry in different forms, and then now where I'm ending. I mean, where I'm moving towards. And it's not just me. I have a lot of people behind me, like. Bhavana Vijayam is there, Padja Vikasam is there, a lot of people help me in delivering things. Particularly when we do stage plays, it's more like sometimes we will be 6 months, and thanks to my wife, she puts up with me for all this, and of course she helps me as well, and a lot of other people. So thank you once again. For giving me this opportunity, Srinivasarao Garu and the Sahitya Akademi, and then of course my all family members here, and then all of you who came to listen to me on this auspicious evening. Thank you.
You haven't exceeded time, you transcended time. Thanks a lot. Although living in a foreign land, it is clearly appears that you are deeply rooted in your motherland. Though through your poems you speak to your own people, your own language, and humbly feel that it is Goddess Saraswati who makes you write. Also, you frankly shared that you are influenced deeply by the literary giants such as Shri Shri. We, all our humility, admire your originality and simplicity. Thanks a lot for being with us this evening. The Pravasi Manch with these words ends here. Thanks a lot to you all.
सर हैंड कर दीजिए जी। उन्होंने बोला था कि फोटो दे जाने तो क्यों नहीं गया?